Hello and welcome to The Parting Shot with H. Alan Scott. I am indeed H. Alan Scott. The end credits for this week include President Donald Trump coming for my girl Gayle King, which is stressing me out. Republicans going gaga for their new MAGA queen, Sydney Sweeney. A new ballroom is coming to the White House, and failed Superman, Dean Cain, somehow needs a new job and decided to join ICE. To help me make sense of this entire week is Gianmarco Soresi. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Those headlines certainly dampened my mood a bit.
You know, I'm over. I don't get depressed by news. I will say that. It's sort of in my world. It's in my DNA. I process it. To me, it's always like it's another day, another source of news. More news is coming, and I don't let it emotionally impact me, if you will. Sometimes it will, but
yeah,
there's a detachment that I can have very easily that I think I need to have in order to get through the day.
I'll try to learn it from you today. I'd love to have some.
Maybe. So wait, first off, how are you? I said recently on a Sirius XM show that I was on, and I texted you this, that you are the gay man's favorite straight comic, because so often straight comics, you know, I'm sorry, some of the straight dudes out there, they ain't speaking to us. And I'm not saying you necessarily are. I'm just saying that, like, we feel included.
Well, I'm grateful for that. I really think it has to do with doing so much theater. And it's just like the community that I had. I think it's that I didn't have a lot of straight guy friends growing up in high school or theater. I'm doing a show at Fire Island tomorrow with Jay Jordan.
My friend Jay, love Jay.
And, you know, I think sometimes it's why am I going to Fire Island? There's this thing of like in college, I had a lot of gay friends, and some of them came out yesterday and they're embracing life and they're going to gay clubs and gay bars. And sometimes it would be like, okay, well, I'll see you later. And like, you know, there's moments that it's like, hey, I'd love to go to the place that a lot of my friends disappeared to for the weekend and just be like, hi, just visiting. Thank you for letting me be here. And so I think like that's part of the fascination of like, oh, is it, I like to be in a place, you know, momentarily be like, what's going on over here? And it's incredible. What a cool place Fire Island is. I went once last year.
Well, let me just, I'm gonna push back on you a little bit on that, because and this is for East Coasters. I lived in the East Coast for a long time. I'm in California now, but I'm in the right place now, I feel like. But for me. But that said, when you are on the East Coast, and you're around homosexuals who can afford a vacation, which seemingly by Instagram is every homosexual in the world, and you can choose between either going to Fire Island or, in my opinion, the better part, Provincetown, P-Town.
Yes.
Now, and I fall into the Judy Gold camp of I vacate in P-Town. It becomes the personality when I'm over there. That is my speed. Fire Island's a little too Hulu special. Couldn't quite get on HBO. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I want to see that. Like, listen, I'll go to P-Town maybe for the meals, but like when I went last time, it was the first time I've ever seen someone do in front of me, and I was like, I want to see that. I want to. Oh wow.
They're very loose there. Things happen in Fire Island. Let me tell you, while I'm sure that does happen in P-Town, because, you know, things happen in P-Town, but it's more like driven by an ice cream cone need. You know what I mean?
Sure.
There's more of a let's just sit around and talk about why Whoopi Goldberg shouldn't be on The View over an ice cream cone. Like, that's the conversations that are happening in P-Town.
That sounds. I would love to be a part of that conversation. Right? So I'll check it out. I think I got one more Fire Island year in me, and then I'm turning 37 in like 2 weeks. Then I'll be a P-Town.
Wow. Yes.
P-Town straight.
Yes. Well, I was a P-Town gay in my 20s, so maybe I've just been middle-aged since my early 20s. I think so.
Sure, nothing wrong with that.
Wait, but you also recently did a full swing of shows, stand-up shows throughout Europe, right?
I did a month and a half traveling around Europe. I did London, other UK spots. I did Berlin, Hamburg, Amsterdam, Athens, Milan.
Well,
Yeah.
so I want to know then, because I've also traveled to perform internationally during other years of, like, during the Trump years, early Trump years and stuff. And international audiences definitely have a reaction to an American coming and doing stuff, and they want to talk about the situation in the United States. So what were your experiences with the situation conversations?
I would really like, I think the way I approached it was I would ask them about like their government, because I think what's the thing you have to acknowledge as an American is like they know us because we project it out into the world. We, if anything, Americans run the media. I can make a joke about RFK in Barcelona. And so I always play with the fact that I don't even know whether they have a president or a dictator or a whatever. Yeah. Like and so that's how I approach it. And I say to them, like, what's bad about your country? Make me feel better. And then sometimes I'll say, who has it worse? And I've won in Milan, in Rome. Or Milano, where certainly they got a lot going on over there with Giorgia Meloni, their right-leaning president, and they said, you have it worse. Unanimously, all one voice. They said, who is it worse? You, both vowels, and they're feeling for those of us that don't want to be there, and there's a little bit of like, yeah, America, you get what you deserve.
Oh, well, I mean, I kind of, every once in a while, it's nice to have like a moment where Italy can be like, ha ha. You know what I mean? Because they haven't been able to go ha ha for many years. They have not.
Yes.
So that's good for them. I'm glad they're having that journey right now.
But it was lovely. I think like this is my fan base, so I can never tell like how left leaning a country is. It's the same with America. I'll go to Huntsville, Alabama, and if only my audience in Huntsville, Alabama could vote, Jill Stein would have probably been president or dictator at this point. And like, I can't use that to understand the world.
No. I don't think that's the context in which the world's thinking. Well, let's get to some stories from the week, because there's one story that I'm actually obsessed with. Now, I want to start off by saying, and this is a full bias of mine, Gayle King is my queen. I love a Gayle. I interviewed Gayle, and there's a wonderful video of me telling Gayle that she's a gay icon, and she did not understand the words that were coming out of my mouth. She didn't quite process what was going on. Sure. I love Gayle King. That is my bias. So, and I'm not necessarily a political person, but Trump decided to come for Gayle King this week, and I don't know. Them's fighting words for me. So, like, what? But it brings up a larger conversation in that with this whole Skydance Paramount deal that happened where Paramount had to pay Trump because of the lawsuit, and then now the merger went through and all of the things. What do you make of A, Gayle King's time at CBS, but B, really the whole situation that's going on at CBS Paramount?
I mean, I just think we need to call it what it is, which it's obviously a bribe. The 60 Minutes interview thing, I heard the whole breakdown of it, and it's so shockingly mundane and compared to everything that every network does, that I just think you got to be honest about what it is. You're not gonna get rid of it at this point, but you got to go, okay, this is everything's compromised to some degree. Mm-hmm. Cynically, I say. And I think like we just have to be honest about why they paid Trump, what this is, and ultimately, I think try to tarnish the brand, where I think conservatives do a good job of identifying the mainstream media as a boogeyman that they are not active participants in. And I think like you got to, as if I'm some kind of political strategist, I'm like, you have to tie the fact of like, what are you talking about? I mean, they're trading favors. I mean, they're paying Trump so they can get their deal. This is the conservative mainstream media is a conservative entity. Yeah. It is a corrupt entity. It is a government run entity. And I think as a gay icon, I hope Gayle King inspires a gay January the 6th. And
Can you imagine what that would look like?
I was gonna make it's such a hacky joke. Oh, I just
Please make
thought
it. Make it.
the January the 5th, like an old.
Like a Borscht Bell comedian.
A Borscht Bell. The list gay joke is truly, it's so gone that maybe it's a retro thing now.
You know,
January the 5th.
I'll give you a pass because you're going to Fire Island. I'll give you a pass.
That's the only reason I'm going, so I can get a couple of those in there.
Well, you know what's interesting about what has me thinking about this whole situation that's going on with Paramount is, and I think, and here's, of course, me, I'm not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but I do feel like there is a want and a need from the conservative side of having a conservative-leaning Fox-like network on network television, on main of the top three, you know, the ABC, the CBS, the NBC. And I feel like, and this is me just projecting, there's no evidence of this, but that this might be a path in which they think they can turn CBS into a more conservative-leaning Fox-like network, CBS News specifically.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, if you look at Fox and the way that Fox is ran, Fox News, yes, is a conservative leaning channel, but the Fox Corporation, which Disney now, 20th Century Fox, I think Disney has. And so that clearly is not a conservative, studio. So they have a separation there that like Paramount can have the RuPaul's Drag Race, which it has, or all the NTV shows or all those things, but then also have CBS News be the conservative leaning news of the top three news organizations.
Yeah, I think they're already successful in that. I think CNN, at least I can remember the time it was viewed as more liberal leaning, and then you watch it and you're like, no, this has really been brought to a centrist place at most, if not a little, conservative in the grand scheme of things. And I think with these mergers, by the way, which feel uncomfortably big to begin with, and monopoly leaning, I think it will just, fingers crossed, speed along the dissolution of some of these brand names. I think all the news organizations have probably too much sway over the I watch my mom watch MSNBC just 24/7, and I go, I don't think you're getting a full picture of certain things here either. I'm ready for it. I mean, I know you work at an institution but like there's part of me that goes, let them break down. We need a breakdown and a rebuilding. And if I wish everyone from 60 Minutes quit, except for that. I mean, that one guy quit. And it's very nerve-wracking. It's very nerve-wracking because I see my parents who just watch it. The whole reality is whatever that one channel is, and that's scary.
Yeah, I mean, yes, diversify your news. Get it from Gayle King. She's my girl.
Sure. Do you have friends who say they diversify their news and they're like, I listen to the Drudge Report, Breitbart, Fox. Like there are those people that go, I really diversify my information sources. It goes right and alt right.
But you could also say the same. You could say the same of the left too.
Absolutely.
MSNBC, and then I watch the Young Turks, and then I watch like et cetera, and it's just like it goes both ways, and it's just like, can everyone just be normal and celebrate Gayle King's dress that she wears every single year on her anniversary of coming to CBS? She's still able to fit into it every single year.
Yeah.
So I'm
very
just saying,
impressive.
That's a very middle ground things that people can celebrate. Moving on to speaking of the conservative channels, Fox News. So Fox News is really loving that Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican in Florida. They are loving it to the point where they are now almost like romantic fan fictioning the marriage or the relationship between a possible Barron Trump and Sydney Sweeney, which she is 10 years older than him, first off. Let's just say that. And so I don't think, considering the Trump family history, I don't think the men are going to be going for someone 10 years older, a woman 10 years older. That said, where do you make of this?
This is the stuff, if I speak, this is the stuff that makes me depressed, or like I start yelling at the clouds, because it does, on one hand, it like doesn't matter at all. It's like, Sydney Sweeney's, here's what I want people to not do, and is to be like Sydney Sweeney's a bad actor because or she's not hot, or the
Yeah.
reverse. I think like I did have some friends who were worked up about the American Eagle ad, and I don't know if the ad is this, that, or the other, but I know that the ad is like downstream of what's been happening in our country, and to quibble about it, or to tie to have a part of your fight that you're already struggling to win be tied to going against Sydney Sweeney being attractive. Now, of course, I think Fox and everyone they grabbed onto this, and now they're pretending it's bigger than it is, and they show a picture of Sydney as if they were progressive about women showing off their body. The conservatives are suddenly like, I bet liberals are mad about this Sydney, and I'm like, listen, I'm as leftist as they come. I love big. We got to say, like, listen, I love universal health care and big and making sure everything's safe with them. So like it's one of those things where it's like, do you just ignore it so they can stop using it? But I know this. Sydney Sweeney might be a Republican. We cannot make the campaign for equality going against Sydney Sweeney. We need, if anything, we need to say, hey, look, her genes might be good, but genes can express themselves in a lot of different ways. For example, her brother. I would do that. I'd say, good genes don't always fit. And I would show a picture of her brother. That's the angle you got to take.
Yeah.
You got to take, you can't be whiny. You can't be whiny.
I mean, I agree. I totally agree. And just on the, I mean, I just love that sort of, because there is a lack of celebrity talent, which we're going to get to talking about Dean Cain on the conservative side. There's a lack. They're desperate.
Yes.
And Hulk Hogan's dead. So they got nobody. I mean, it's sort of like they're very eager for some thing. And Sydney Sweeney is as big as they come these days. I mean, she's all over. You can't go to any advertising, a mall and not see her poster on something or something. Biggest. I mean, she's everywhere. So I get why they're eager for her, but I feel like they're in for like a surprise, because I feel like she's not gonna lean into this. She's gonna go in probably the smart career direction, I feel, and just stay apolitical. And she's gonna be a muted presence, and it's gonna be kind of boring. But I feel like it's gonna be real lackluster, the future for Sydney Sweeney, and she'll probably win an Oscar. Or
at least a Razzie for sure. But she is a good actor.
She's very good.
I do think it's more like, Sydney Sweeney. You talk about the things to talk about is she was part of Euphoria, which had a so many roles. A prominent trans actor and queer, talked about queerness, and so you lean in. You got to lean into that as opposed to is it cool that she registered as a Republican in 2024? No, it's lame as shit. But like focus on just got to focus on the more positive aspects, or just make jokes about it. I do think. Or lean into the fact again that there are plenty of Republicans who are conservative in the old-fashioned way, where they go, I didn't know this is what the person who sells soap of their bathwater. Oh, I didn't know this is what we were voting for. And it's like, we as progressives, we can embrace that.
Yeah.
And hey, listen, if Republicans end up whining their way into becoming big Euphoria fans, great.
I want to.
If Republicans want to say Euphoria is a conservative show, fantastic. They can redefine themselves.
I would love to see that. I want to meet. I think that would be a great video. A conservative Republican watches one episode of Euphoria, and then you're going to see the melting of a human directly in that YouTube video. You're going to see someone just crumble apart.
And go further. I tell those conservatives, you want to see a great pair of Hunter Schafer looking pretty good, and then they go, oh my God, their mind is opened, and that can be beautiful. You got to trick people sometimes. You got to trick people into your beliefs.
Well, moving on. No one's being tricked. This is me. This is my transitions. No one's being tricked by Trump's really desperate I wouldn't say desperate, but like he has a campaign going on right now to sort of remake the White House into essentially Mar-a-Lago of the North. In that we've seen it with the Oval Office, all the gold, things that he's added on, and now with the ballroom, he's paved over the Rose Garden as well for events and whatnot. And so there is this. Then this week he appeared on the rooftop of part of the West Wing randomly with like journalists on the ground yelling up questions at him as he just sort of looks down and moves his hands and does the things and stuff. What do you make of, do you care about whatever he does to the White House? I do personally.
I mean, listen, this institution, there's been so many people there that like, I no longer have an attachment to it. I think again, the tactic is you lean in. Every president gets to redesign the White House. If Pete Buttigieg becomes president, he builds an improv space for his husband to run improv shows all day. And if anyone fights back, say, sorry, this is what we do now. We no longer care. And every president gets to remake it in however they want to see fit.
It's like a part of the budget. Here's $100 million. Go remake the White House. Have fun.
Yeah. I think it would be fun. We need a little bit of change, clearly. Yeah. But of course Trump's going to modify it. This is what he does. He's a builder. And anytime Trump is busy on something like this, I go, he hires people. He hires people to build. I think anything that keeps him occupied is a good thing. So if he's on the roof planning the White House, great. And
well, I do want to ask you something. Moving on from that, I do want to ask you something because you're in New York. You're in New York, right? Yeah, you're in New York. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I'm very jealous of about New York right now, and I know you probably don't care about this, but I do care about this: the shooting of Devil Wears Prada 2 in New York. Has it excited you at all as a New Yorker?
It is. I also Caleb. I found out that I recently been mispronouncing his name. Caleb Huron is in it. And he is my girlfriend's client. My girlfriend's a comedy manager. So I haven't heard a single thing. It's very tightly wrapped, and I'm dying to know what's going on over there.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be great. A big Anne Hathaway fan.
Yeah.
Big Meryl Streep fan. I don't know if Martin Short has a part, but they should let him do something in there. He should do a catwalk run.
I think he's in her trailer. Let's be real.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's in the trailer, just hiding out, waiting for her to get her wig on. But I mean, what do you make of because it does seem like it's energized the city into sort of, I mean, they're waving to the fans. People are coming out to watch them film these street scenes. I mean, people, in a weird way, with everything else going on right now, it feels like a beautiful distraction for New York, because New York is a mess. And so give them something. And B, the world.
Listen, the thing is, as a former actor, I walk by these sets and I can't help but have a fantasy that Meryl comes out and goes, "Oh my God, are you an actor? We need an actor for this scene right now. Could you do it right now?" And so I walk by these sets, and it hasn't happened yet. Fingers crossed that this is what it happens for.
Yeah.
But I have been in my underwear in my room eating cereal and heard from the street, "Action!" and thought, "Oh my God, where did it go wrong? I'm so close. I'm so close to it."
Well, speaking of actors who have failed, sorry for that transition. Dean Cain. I'm very proud of that, though. I'm very proud of that.
That's very good.
So Dean Cain this week made news because he says that he has joined ICE, which is oddly, it's dark, but also comical on a level. What do you make? This is your opportunity to roast Dean Cain. I'm eager for it, but also, what do you make of him joining ICE?
I wish I could make fun of Dean Cain, but I don't really know who the he is. To be honest with you, I'm familiar with that he was one of the Superman, and I just think this is a lesson to all the conservatives who were like, Superman, the new one, wasn't conservative enough. It's like, yeah, you want to see conservative Superman? That's when he stops being Superman, because like that's this idea of like, it's so funny when people look at like superheroes and go, oh, they're standing for liberal. It's like that's the whole thing, is that they're doing nice and they're doing good. Like what would the conservative Superman look like? He'd deport people at the speed of light. That's not a superhero.
Yeah.
And I think they have to confront that version where they go, oh yeah, the things I want aren't what a superhero would want to do. So I think it's kind of poetic that now that he no longer is wearing the cape, that's when he joins ICE.
Well, the thing that blows me away about it is, and this is just me again projecting, but like, listen, have your beliefs, be conservative, whatever you like, have your thoughts, sure. But with some of these celebrities, especially some of these actors like Dean Cain, who he hasn't been in working things that I've seen, or I think many people have seen, in a long time. And so when an actor like that then starts to get headlines for saying some of their political beliefs because they either are shocking or they go against what people assumed of that person, they maybe do it more to get more headlines in order to get what they think, I feel like, is more work. I think Dean Cain's going in a different direction with that by actually joining ICE.
Take from an actor. No actor is joining ICE because they wanted to. They booked Dean Cain in a baby bottle pop commercial, and he will leave ICE in a second. He will leave ICE in a second. Let me tell you this: book Dean Cain for an English speaking role in a Telemundo show. He will leave ICE immediately. He will completely pivot. I promise. No actor joins ICE unless they are out of money.
Wow. I want to see that, actually. I want to see Dean Cain in a Telemundo telenovela. I think that would be...
If they made a movie and the movie was about how ICE is evil and they wanted to cast Dean Cain in the role, and his role was that he was an ICE officer who kept his pants, he would take the role in a heartbeat. He would leave ICE to take that role immediately. Actors have no values. We just say what we're told to, and that's all that Dean's doing. You want him to stop, give him something else to say and a little bit of money. He will say it.
I think that is the perfect thing to end on this week. This is fantastic. You are fantastic. Have fun in Fire Island. Where can people follow you, follow your shows, where you're going to be, all of the things?
Yes. I tour all around the world. Find me on every social media platform at Gianmarco Soresi. A lot of videos if you want to watch it. YouTube longer. Got a special coming out in September. It's called Thief of Joy. And listen to my podcast, The Downside, with Gianmarco Soresi, if you like hearing me complain about the world.
Well, I do. And I could listen to it all day long. Thank you so much for doing this. And thank you for listening to the Parting Shot podcast. You can follow me at H. Allen Scott everywhere. And you can also see me on January 5th supporting Gayle King. The gays will rise up. Have a great one.